Hey guys, what's up? So we got this to stream some video games, as the young kids call it. And we're going to go ahead and do an unboxing. I hardly ever do unboxings on this channel, so I figured this is a good first attempt. Anyway, let me go ahead and pull off the plastic wrapping. So if you're asking yourself what this is the game capture card for playing and streaming. It's la carte plug and play de capture de jeu pour la diffusion continue. It's the Avermedia 2 live game portable. Now the reason we chose this over the Elgato was, one, this is just a much prettier device. Clearly that is the deciding factor. No, actually, this looks like it should be a speaker. But part of the reason is because I was reading online, and this thing actually has an SD card, so you can record things in there. This is also portable. I believe you can charge it. I don't know what the battery life for it is. On top of that, it can also stream, so this can record your gameplay when you're on the go, which is part of the reason why we got it. Oh wow, this actually has some weight. Is it? It looks like it's bottom heavy, which is great because what that means is that basically it's going to be a little bit harder to move in case stuff is going around, which is fine because with streaming items like that or anything that records media, you really don't want things moving. This is a nice case for it though, especially if you're going to take it on the go. This is very nice. It's a good little box. I don't see myself throwing this away. I just see keeping it. And there's a little soft cushion in here for the actual streaming device. Very small too. So if we take zoom out a little bit, ignore my blanket. This is my hands right here, and this is the size of what the device looks like. So let's zoom in a little bit more so you guys don't have to see my blanket in my room. Anyway, so if we take everything out of the box, this comes with an aux cord. Don't know how to use this yet, so we'll figure it out. It comes with an HDMI cable, which is cool. I didn't actually expect this coming, but it's great because I can hook it up on top of the streaming device. And on top of that, it comes with a mini HDMI cable to USB, which I've never actually seen one of these before. It's great that we have it. Yeah, I hardly ever have one. I used to have a mini HDMI to regular HDMI cable for one of my cell phones, but this is kind of what it is right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and capture some gameplay. I don't know when I'm going to get back to this video, but if I can't capture gameplay because I am using a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 3, and what is coming on the way is an HDMI splitter so I can get through the copyright stuff. We'll see how it goes, but this is basically what we're going to be using to hopefully be recording some video games. But I'll let you guys know how the HDMI splitter thing goes because until I get that, Sony consoles are a little bit different than the Microsoft or Nintendo consoles. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch y'all later. Bye. Actually, I'll see you on the other side because I'm going to go ahead and put in some gameplay here.
So this is recording off the PS4, and I'm also recording with my professional mic, so my voice might sound a little bit weird, and please ignore the professional driving skills that you're seeing here. But one thing that you'll notice is that it records 1080p, 60 frames per second. On the PS4, I had to turn off the HDCP, so I actually didn't have to use the HDMI splitter. However, that was not the case with the PlayStation 3, and I did run into some issues with the PlayStation 3, and I'll go over those issues when I get to the PlayStation 3 segment of this video. But as far as the PlayStation 4 goes, it's very easy to record. You just have to turn off the HDCP settings, which are on the PS4 menu, and you will be fine. And it does record at 1080p, 60 frames per second. And if you want to change the resolution, you'd have to do that by connecting it to the computer. One other quick thing is that I find that the results are much better with recording on the SD card versus actually having it manually connected to the computer. And I'll talk about that when I get to the PS3 section of the video.
Alright, so this is the link we have to follow to get our software. So this is a little bit of what it actually looks like, and you can kind of see the TV's turning on, the laptop's about to put it together. And for you to actually record on a PlayStation 3, which is what we have over here, not the PS4, you need an HDMI splitter. The company does not promote that you use an HDMI splitter, but it is necessary. Also, another issue I found was that I was not able to capture audio using a PS3. And once again, this is not an issue with any other system. This is just a PlayStation 3 because of the HDCP. So I had to use PS2 component cables and connect the audio, the red and the white cord. And by doing that, I was able to go ahead and record.
So one other thing, this light over here, this blue light, it blinks blue when it's not it's blue when it's not recording. It's red. It's also red when it's not recording, but it's blinking blue and red when it is recording. So it has to be blinking blue and red for you to know that it's actually recording. Just a heads up.
I tried recording off on the SD card, but which is right there. But it is a little bit difficult because of it's not very intuitive in telling you when it's recording. But usually this light right here is red whenever it is recording. So just do keep that in mind. So what we have basically is we have the PS3 hooked up to the TV and the TV running to the Avermedia, and in between that we have the HDMI splitter over there, and that's running back to the Avermedia. So nothing too crazy, but you can kind of see right here the wires are all over the place because just to get this specific PS3 we've had to use an HDMI cable and component cables and run those back instead of just using an HDMI cable. The PS4 will let you just remove the HDCP if you need to. It's much easier to record off it, but the main issue is the PS3. And part of the reason is because we have plenty of PS3 games that I do eventually want to record. But other than that, the system itself is working fine, as you can tell. The software is replicating just what the screen is showing. And also the interaction. So let me just go back a little bit so you can actually see how fast and responsive it is. It is very fast. It's got about half a second of delay, if that. But watch, you can see right here. See? But that's just because I'm guessing just because the signal is going through like 4 different things to get to where I need it to. But I am very happy with it. Have not tried the streaming feature, just the capture feature. But I'm sure it's not difficult to set up if you already got your... because the software does work as an encoder as well. And this is the Avermedia software. So you can kind of see how it looks like. The only issue is just that, man, does this use a lot of CPU.
So this is a PS3 video. I was recording Final Fantasy 13. This is a video I have private, so no one has access to it yet. But this was a serious issue that I discovered while working on the Let's Play. And the audio is captured just fine, which is great because the PS3 controller doesn't have a audio specific jack. But check out what happens when I start playing the video and let me know if you can tell where it fucks up. Yeah, so the audio recorded is very well done. And let me make it full screen so you guys can actually see what the resolution is. There's no real slowdown in frames, which is amazing.
So it's not about their wedding, it's about...
Oop, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself now so you guys don't have to listen to too many voices. And it should happen fairly soon. Let me fast forward a little bit. So right here when they start flying around, the video is going to, the frames just freeze. Boom, right there. But I believe the audio still plays. Let me double check.
Was the one that left that huge crate.
Yeah, so the audio still plays. So that's a really big issue. And I found that issue when I was recording using the laptop recording feature. When I switched to an SD card, I no longer had this issue. So I don't know if this is the PS3 specific issue. I don't know if this is an issue with the computer because of how much CPU it is using, because it is using a fair amount. After recording this video, I did upgrade my RAM, but I still haven't tried this again because I don't want to go back and fix this for all the videos. This Final Fantasy 13 thing is probably going to be over 40 parts, and going back and individually combing through that is already really difficult. So that's why that's the only issue I ran into. So to mitigate this, And there you go. About 40 seconds later, it fixes itself, which is way too long. But to mitigate it, what I had to do was basically, let me stop this. It's distracting me. But to mitigate it, I had to use the SD card. And then the cool thing is that on the Avermedia, you can press that little glowing insignia, and it starts and stops your recording when you're recording on an SD card, and it blinks red and blue when it is recording. So it's super easy, and you don't have to set up your laptop, so you don't have to really worry about all the other cables. But this was the only frustrating thing, and this only happened with the PS3. I didn't notice it on any of the PS4 recordings, but then again, I did record the other PS4 recordings with the SD card. I believe this probably won't be an issue if your laptop is much better, but it is something to keep in mind that unfortunately it is something that can happen if you are running a laptop with a low CPU. Just always keep that in mind. The other thing too, and this isn't for the PS3, but there's some lower end consoles. They don't fully render in 1080p because of the source. The 1080p is usually like an actual upscale of whatever the original source of the video game was. You'll see this more with Xbox 360 than PS3. And once again, I believe the original Xbox One is at 900p, so it's almost 1080p, but you'll basically notice some artifacting, and I believe that's the reason why it happens, and that's why I notice it more with the older gen consoles and not with the newer gen consoles as much. But it's just things to point out, guys. Things to point out.
But for the most part, very happy with this purchase. The Avermedia combined with the little splitter combined is like $220. You can probably get a refurbished one, but and that will probably set you back a lot less. But that is the only thing that seems to be an issue. Anyway, you guys have a good day, because we are about to start Final Fantasy 13, which is part of the reason why I got this. Oh yeah, another issue, and I don't know how, I don't know how big of an issue this is going to be right here, but if you can see, the resolution is 1080p. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the PS3 specifically, not the PS4 doesn't do this as much, but the PS3, whenever it's using software, almost always double checks and makes sure that you are on the proper resolution. So what might happen sometimes is that the encoder might trip a little bit because it doesn't know which resolution to output, or vice versa with the PS3. It doesn't, like, the signal once again has to go through a couple different bottlenecks. So just keep that in mind. But for the most part, I am pretty pleased with the results.